freaking go, guys. What a day in college football. What a day. Get excited. And I mean that. I don't even know if I mean this respectfully. This is my honest opinion. I'll die on this hill, and I don't think this hill is dying anytime soon, is that the people that don't like storming the field, they could get the heck out of college football. They could get the heck out of this discussion about football. They don't like sports. They don't like life. This is life, man. This is life at its fullest. We had a day of carnage all across college football today. We had a day of carnage. We had a day of redemption. It was the day of redemption. There were two guys that were left for dead in Brent Venables and specifically Billy Napier. Billy Napier got beat by 1,000 points this year to Mario Cristobal. Billy Napier hasn't made a bowl game since Nam. Billy Napier took over the Florida Gators, and he went 5-7 in 2 years, and he was a dead man walking. Like, he was like that guy with fire, like walking with fire literally all around him. That was Billy Napier after Texas A&M and Marcel Reed came in there and beat them by 20. And what were they, 1-2? To start the year? That's the Florida Gators. But what Billy did is Billy didn't listen to the outside noise. Sunbelt Billy. You know what he did? He just kept coaching football. And him and Austin Armstrong, even when they lost Graham Mertz, their starting quarterback, this team just continued to fight and get better and better. And somehow the offseason, they treated the first 3 games like it was damn preseason at Florida. And they packed a late punch. You looked at the schedule and said, no way is Florida going to be going bowling. That's stupid. That's insane. Billy's certainly going to get fired. Instead, they're sitting here 6-5. Florida. The Florida freaking Gators. You know what? And DJ Lagway today. Another efficient day throwing. 10 of 17 throwing the ball, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Elijah Badger gets some touchdowns. Montrell Johnson, 18 for 107. Jaden Ball adds 13 for 46. Okay? What a day in the swamp. What a season. I mean, and I knew that Florida was ready to roll. After they beat LSU, I knew when they got DJ Lagway back, I knew that defense would pop. And Austin Armstrong was a star at Southern Miss, and his star continues to shine bright at 31 years old, and you knock on wood for good health for a great person like Austin freaking Armstrong. What a year for Florida. What a year for Billy. He went from being fired, where's the walking papers, to it's BS that he's staying around, and all he did was continue to fight. All he did was go to Mississippi State and put a whooping on Mississippi State. He killed UCF at home. He took Tennessee to overtime in Neyland Stadium. Okay, then they play Kentucky. They wax Kentucky, and that's like, whoa, okay. Whoa. When they beat Kentucky, it's like, whoa. What's Billy up to? What the heck's Billy doing? What's Billy doing? Then they barely lose to Georgia. And then they have Texas. And they lose 49-17. And then they come home, and is DJ going to play? And they're staring right now at 4-5. You got Ole Miss. You got Florida. You're going to finish 5-7, aren't you, Billy? All right? You're an underdog against LSU. All you do is beat them by double digits, hold them to 16, and then all you do is beat Jaxson Dart and the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss put everything into this season. The defensive line of Walter Nolan, Chris Parker, who's a linebacker on that team, Juice Wells, okay? Great pass catchers everywhere. Really good running backs. Big-time running backs on Ole Miss. What the heck happened to Ole Miss is that they lost to Kentucky, a physical game which they couldn't lose. They lost to LSU, so they lost winnable games early, and that's the price of playing that game, all right? And Ole Miss had a manageable schedule. They botched the LSU game, and they really botched Kentucky early in the year. They didn't play consistent enough. They got caught too close to the fire. They were absolutely a team that could have competed and maybe even won this national championship, or at least made a couple of runs in the playoff. They still, when you look at this season, are going to have 9 wins. So you could look at the bright side. You beat Georgia in one of the biggest wins in your program's history. You went to South Carolina and stomped South Carolina, and you have Lane Kiffin there, who's a damn good coach who wins 9 games, and you're a really solid football program. All right? So you could look at it like that. You could win the Egg Bowl, win your rivalry game, beat Georgia at home. You beat South Carolina on the road. You laid it to Arkansas, so you still had a really, pretty damn good season. If you're Ole Miss, you still had a good season, but it could have been more. But anyway, Lane Kiffin's there. You got Pete Golding. You got Weiss Jr. You got the right guys in that program. Got the right coaching staff at Ole Miss. All right? It's just you went into the swamp today, and the swamp got you. And Florida is a team of talent, and it just needed to click. And they stayed with Billy, and it's an unbelievable coaching job. Today's more about Florida, Today's about Florida. It's not about Ole Miss necessarily. It's about Florida getting good. And if Florida's good and you get that home field and you're playing at the end of the year and you're Ole Miss and you just play Georgia and you're kind of limping around a little bit, you're going to get got. In this SEC, you're going to get beat. And Ole Miss, feet too close to the fire a bunch of times. But again, what are you going to complain about 9 wins? Look at Nebraska, haven't won a bowl game in 8 years. What do you want to go back to Matt Luke or Hugh Freeze? Lane Kiffin's great. You're going to win 9 games. You're a lot better than Mississippi State. Still a really good year. Still going to go to a really damn good bowl game if you're Ole Miss. And next week's going to be a huge game on Thanksgiving night. I can't wait for it. For Florida, Florida keeps the momentum going in this program. Florida's potential is great. Florida's potential year in, year out is even better than Ole Miss. Ole Miss had a wonderful team this year. Ole Miss is going to be good every 2 or 3 years. Florida can build a program that can be even more consistent. And Billy Napier today showed that he's that guy. He really did. He turned it around in these 14 days. He's shown brilliance. And Billy Napier's one of the most resilient SOBs that is in this damn game. And that's what we saw today.